What's going on, everybody? Toby1 Shinobi here, and today I'm going to teach you how to become a black belt in Fortnite Zero Build. I'll be doing a breakdown of a black belt run on the Shinobi Zero Build Mastery Course map and teach you the aiming and movement techniques that I'm using in order to reach a black belt score. Now, if you haven't played my Zero Build Mastery map, I highly recommend that you do it. I guarantee that it will improve your Zero Build gameplay, your aim, your movement, and you will have a ton of fun doing it. It's a fast-paced map with a bunch of unique scenarios that will allow you to focus on individual skills for Fortnite Zero Build and track your improvement progress as you do so. You will quickly learn what your biggest weaknesses are, and you'll have the perfect training grounds to improve each one by one. I'll talk a little bit more about the map and the belt ranking system that we're using in the Discord and the aim island in this map as well at the end of the video. But now, let's get into the content. All right, so we are going to do an all belt challenge here. This is the way that you earn a belt score, whether that's white, green, blue, purple, or black belt. This is the Earn Your Belt Challenge. We use this belt ranking system in the Discord as well. People basically share their scores, they screenshot them, and then we give you a rank which is displayed on your profile. It's pretty cool. Also just a good way to track your own progress, improve your own skills, and just have fun doing it. All right, so this is a smooth tracking scenario, and what's really important about this one is recoil control on the AR and learning projectile speed and lead for different ARs. Now, the combat AR and the striker AR pretty much act the same for lead distance and bullet travel. So you can see at these further ranges here, I'm really gonna start to lead my target. See how much I'm leading these shots here? I'm way out here, pretty much 2 to 3 body lengths ahead of this guy, ahead of the enemy, and we're hitting shots, and we're hitting pretty good shots right now. Now this gets a little tricky because he starts switching up speeds, but mastering the recoil control on the ARs and in this scenario is really going to help you. And the next thing is you need to start focusing on headshots at closer range. When somebody in a real game of Zero Build is running in a straight line or they're not looking at you, always go for headshots because headshots really add up. And at this kind of range right here, when they're an easy target, go for that upper shoulders and the head. Try to capture as much headshot damage as you can because look how crazy fast you can kill people if you're just landing headshots. So right now we have just hit par on the course, which on this map, on this scenario right here, the par score to reach a black belt is 14. If you add up all the par scores for each individual scenario, you'll basically guarantee earning yourself a black belt total score. So we're now at 15. And hitting 16. So yeah, this one's basically just all about recoil control, pulling that aim down very slowly. You can see my hand doing it, you know, at longer ranges. Just can watch my hand over here. I'm slowly pulling down as I fire. If he's going up the hill, then you don't have to pull down as much. If he's going kind of in a straight line, you're gonna have to pull down more. So it just takes some time to get good at that, but this map really helps with good recoil control and smoothness. Smoothness is really important. Try to be as smooth as you can, as gentle as you can on those analog sticks if you're using a controller, and also use your own movement. Walking, see how I'm strafing to the left here to match his movement and kind of slow down his relative speed and make things a little bit easier at closer ranges. All right, so now let's get into the next scenario here. We ended that one with a score of 16, so we're 2 above par. This is now a shotgun flicking scenario, and we'll give you some tips in this one. This one is really all about mirroring their movement with your movement to help slow down their relative speed and getting good crosshair placement. Resetting your crosshair to the middle of the center of the map here where you think they're going to be flying through, which is an incredibly important game skill as well. You know, if you're fighting in a spot and you know that your enemy's gonna be coming across, say like a gap or through a doorway, always have your reticle on that doorway or that gap, roughly knowing where they're going to be, and then track them for just a quarter of a second, right? You can see that I'm kind of tracking them using my own movement here to mirror theirs, and that slows down their relative speed and allows me to kind of like, you know, lock on the shot. So if they're coming at you super quick, you know, you're just gonna have to hit a quick shot or a quick flick in a real game. But sometimes people are shockwaving or jetpacking towards you like this or at a slight angle, and that's when you kind of want to match their speed, slowly track their trajectory, and then hit a really nice shot. Because if you're hitting 30s like this, right, when you could be hitting 70s, 75s, you know, it's a huge difference. If each one of your shots is a really good shot, it really adds up. So this can definitely help with that, especially with something like a gatekeeper shotgun. Yeah, this one's fairly straightforward. It's really about like resetting your aim after each shot, resetting your crosshair placement, tracking them for just a moment, letting them get kind of close, and then pulling the trigger when you're going to land a nice heavy shot. Don't pull the trigger too early, and don't be just flicking around and moving all crazy. Now, if you're on a controller, you're also going to want to be mirroring their movement, because that's going to give you increased aim assist strength as well. Whenever you're moving with a controller, it's been shown that you actually have increased aim assist. So definitely something to use on both a controller or a mouse and keyboard. All right, so now we are in the slide and shoot scenario, and this one's all about crosshair placement as well, and getting that slide down. So you can see I'm aiming to the left, and I just let my crosshair come over the enemy, and I pull the trigger. This is about timing and crosshair placement right here. You put it at head level. Well, that one, I'm jumping. You have to learn how to skate in this too. You have to jump and land into a slide, and then jump out of a slide and land back into another slide to keep this momentum. Keeping speed on this map is very important for high scores, because you want to kill as many targets as possible. In order to do that, you have to get close to them. You have to see as many targets as possible. So you want to be moving quick. So right there, the SMGs automatically pull out towards the end, and you want to be very, very stingy with your bullets there. Make sure you're hitting your shots with your SMG, because you will run out of ammo if you waste any bullets, and you will not kill the final guy. You'll have to reload. It'll slow you down. So really important to line your shots up, hit them. Oh, and we missed one right there. Now we're going on foot, just walking. Killed our momentum. Every black belt run, no run is perfect, so there's always going to be little issues like this. It's not a big deal, but you can see, like, even someone who gets high scores will mess up, totally fine. And yeah, it's really about crosshair placement. You can see I'm setting to the left, just wait until it comes over them. I make a minor crosshair adjustment, and then just pull the trigger as it crosses them. Now, one last thing I'll mention about this scenario and in-game as well is that you always want to be aiming towards the shoulders. You want to kind of get that the crosshair, your reticle, have your bottom of the reticle kind of around the shoulders, upper shoulders, and then you'll be capturing a little bit of headshot damage as well. So with shotguns, it's really important to get a little precision damage, because that precision damage can really add up and get you a really heavy shot. These guys have a max health that basically doesn't allow the pellets to show high precision damage. But yeah, aiming upper shoulders and getting a little precision damage is really good in game and for this scenario as well. And just good crosshair placement is what that one's all about. All right, now we're on to the dash room, and this is a very challenging one. You're basically given a Monarch pistol and a pump shotgun, and you have to hit this guy that's dashing around. Now, a big thing here is to just not let him get over your head. You kind of want to be at one corner of the room, try to keep your enemy in front of you, and this is true in game as well. You don't want them jumping over your head and breaking your camera like this. It becomes problematic. And it's all about waiting for those moments where they slow down. Right, I'm looking for this guy to kind of slow down and be a very predictable trajectory. You can see right there, I just fired like 4 or 5 shots, and I wasn't slowing down. Not good pacing. You really want to kind of wait for your shot. Don't wait too long, obviously. Be free with it. Like take some shots. And I'm switching to the pump because this guy's kind of moving fast and he's close. Now we're gonna start figuring it out, I think. Slow down that shot. Don't be afraid to miss either, though. But we are looking for the target to become a easy to read target, because this guy goes crazy sometimes. So you just got to find those little moments where he kind of is on a set trajectory, like going woo, and you can read it, take the shot then, or when he's slowing down like that, boom. Looking for those easy reads. When they're moving crazy like this and they're above your head, it's really hard. Take the shots anyways, but once you see them on a trajectory like that, then really get that crosshair in the right spot, and then just kind of make it a timing game, pulling the trigger at the right time, or just track them into a slowdown, track them into a stop, whatever it is. That's kind of my general suggestions for this one. This one is really all about good aim, good crosshair placement and timing, and then knowing when to use a shotgun when they're like at close range and it's hard to hit those Monarch shots. Go for the shotgun swap. You should be using a Monarch probably about 90% of this scenario. All right, now we are on to a Shockwave defense scenario, and a lot of people have problems with this one because this is extremely hard if you don't know how to read enemy trajectories very well, and lead your shot. You can see as this guy comes out, when they are rising, you want to be shooting above their head, and when they're falling, you want to be shooting below them, so like towards their feet. So as you can see, that guy reaches apex, and as he's coming down, I'm going to start aiming a little bit like below, or like chest, below the belly button kind of, because that is going to allow him to fall into my bullets, and then I just have to lead a little bit. When they're coming straight at you like this, it's a little bit easier. You kind of just aim towards their knees or whatever, and they kind of fall into it, and then you just lead a little bit. You can see it in slow motion here. I start aiming towards the knees, and I'm just leading a little bit. So that's not enough lead right there. I was too far behind. When they get moving really fast, you need to lead a lot more than you think. Usually more lead is better. Sometimes you'll lead a little bit too much, but most times you'll be behind and not ahead. So the ones that are coming like basically straight at you, you can kind of aim towards their stomach. But as you can see right here, I'm leading that guy quite a bit. You see that? That's like almost a body width of lead, and I'm aiming towards the bottom part of his body, towards his knees or his feet, and the bullets are he's falling into the bullets. And then using your own movement is really important for this. Just like all the others, using your movement, kind of tracking them with your strafe is good for aim assist if you're on controller, and also good for slowing down their relative movement and helping your own aim stabilize, kind of smoothing it out with just movement, because movement is a big part of aiming, and if you move with your enemy, you can smooth out your aim, make things a little bit easier, so you don't have to do as much mouse movement or as much toggle movement. So this one's a Shockwave burst map, so basically it's about more like getting through a map with shockwaves, flowberries, and hitting your shots, whether they're in the air or just putting yourself in the right position to get headshots. And this one is really about looking at the environment and figuring out a plan of attack. So moving from left to right or right to left, either one, but don't go from middle and then go right and then go left. Don't waste your time. This one's all about figuring out a good path and moving through the map as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And you don't always have to drop if you don't need to. And then you got to use your flowberries and combine them with your shockwaves. Once you've killed everyone at this bottom stage, you move to the next stage. These red barriers will drop, and then you'll be able to kill again. Now, I know this path, but basically I'm going from right to left now, and I'm just going to use shockwaves and flowberries, and basically we're looking to get headshot damage as we're in the air. All we're really doing is line up the reticle. Look how I put my reticle low, and then I let it fall into him. And then it's about like just kind of a smoothness thing where you need to slowly track your reticle down, pull your reticle down to match as you fall. So if you get like right above them, it makes it easy because you're almost aiming just straight down. And you always want to keep them slightly in front of you. You don't want to be straight above their head, because if you're ever straight above your enemy's head, it's really hard to aim. You have to flip around 180 degrees if you overshoot at all. So yeah, never get straight above them. Going for left to right here. Going for some easy damage. And this is really smooth. This here is just, you know, when you're in the air, when you're taking these aerial shots with a burst SMG or any other weapon that is good aerial accuracy, you want to be practicing that vertical smoothness, going up and down, because as you ascend, you're going to have to start aiming downwards and let your crosshair fall into your enemy. So as you come down, you want to aim above them, and then the crosshair falls into your target, and vice versa. As you go up, you want to put the crosshair below them, and it will rise into them. So and then after that, you have to track their movement vertically with your crosshair. All right, so this is a surrounded position scenario, and in this one we're basically just trying not to take damage, and we're trying to deal as much damage as possible. This is really heavy on weapon swapping and accuracy and positioning. You want to be putting yourself in a spot where you're not going to be shot from multiple angles at once. It's all about taking a one-on-one or a 1v1 with these little bots, right? Letting as few of bots see you at once as possible. You can see I dip back into cover. I'm trying to cut this angle from this guy right here and focus on one bot at a time, because if you die in this scenario, it's like a 7-second respawn, which takes a while to get back into the groove of things. So you really don't want to die, and you really want to focus one AI at a time, and don't let anyone get behind you. As soon as people get behind you, focus them, try to get them out. And this one's really all about using the right weapons at the right ranges Don't be sticking to these SMGs. They don't do enough DPS. You've got to land a good shotgun shot first and then spray. So this is going to teach you how to use the pump and spray method. Don't let anyone behind you. Keep everyone in front of you. Try to do one target at a time. Go for headshot with a Monarch. You can 2-tap people with a Monarch. As you can see, I'm going for those headshots. If you land one shot and you feel like, next one might be hard, he's kind of moving, swap to that shotgun and finish him if they're close range with another headshot. Sometimes that's just easier than landing 2 perfect Monarchs, because the Monarch does have a little bit of vertical kick, and it's kind of hard to line up that second shot sometimes. So that's kind of my tips for that one. We're at a very good score right now, and now we're on to the movement course. Now this right here, people, you got to learn how to skate. This is what I call skating. It's basically landing into a slide, jumping out of your slide, landing back into a slide, jumping out of your slide, landing back into a slide. Really important zero build skill. And if you do that without pressing forward, you will not use sprint. Now right here, you kind of want to just move as fast as possible, so you want to do it in a sprint. But in real games, if you didn't know, if you let go of your forward momentum as you are entering that jump from the slide, it will no longer burn your stamina bar, which is really, really amazing for moving across the map. So it is a skill to learn. So right here is all about clean movement, getting up these stairs. You hit the slap splash for infinite stamina. And now we're just all about clean movement, not hitting railings, not hitting walls. We're trying to move here through this cleanly, and this also teaches you in game to move through structures cleanly. So if you're being chased, you can outrun enemies because they're fumbling on walls, they're hitting their shoulders on walls, on chairs, desks, whatever it is. You want your movement to be extremely clean in tense scenarios at close range, so that you are always ahead of your enemy and you can get away from them and set up angles on them without them expecting you to be there already. All right, so right here, this is probably one of the hardest parts of the course. You want to take this slow. Notice that I'm kind of just jogging it out right here. I'm not going super fast, but you got to line up your jumps right here. And man, I'll say this is hard. Yeah, get enough momentum and then cut out on your sprint jump and let it slow down if you need to, like I did right here. You'll see this second jump right here. I let go of the sprint. I'm no longer pressing forward. I'm just coasting in the air to make sure I land on there safely. It's not about how fast you do this. It's about not messing up, because if you mess up, you fall down here and you have to go over to this box to jump back on, and it is a nightmare, a big slowdown. Now right here, you're gonna learn how to move through windows, square that body up. I was actually shutting off my phone right here, I think. That's why I was walking towards that wall. But yeah, this is about like squaring that movement up through the windows and then learning how to slide cleanly under things, moving through these hallways clean without bumping into them. And right here you can see that I'm landing into slides constantly. Even this is a miniature slide right here. You can see my knee go down, and that just keeps that forward momentum without like slowing down at all, without entering a jog or any weird animations that break your momentum. So it's all about these little miniature slides. See, I'm hitting a miniature slide right here, and I'm jumping out of it, which could be called a B-hop. Definitely a movement skill to learn. So this one's just about kind of like inventory management as well as collecting the stuff. You'll notice that as I came over here, I'm picking this up as I'm going to slide. I'm going to let the slide play out down the ramp. Actually, I didn't, kind of messed that up. Not the cleanest movement right now because of the phone call, I think. Probably still in my head about that, but we hit the splash so that we have infinite stamina. And this is just lining up those jumps or timing those jumps appropriately. Now this is a skill that you got to learn as well. Like if you have a fence or something like that in Fortnite Zero Build, you want to learn how to mantle it and then walk straight on it. So you need to turn and get your reticle right above the structure and aim straight down. And it's actually a really, really good skill to learn, and that's why I put it in here. So that little tunnel is all about just clean movement. Just got to steer yourself, try not to run into too much, try to stay off those walls, very important. Now we got to hit this Flowberry, jump this gap, collect the next Flowberry in a slide, and then we hit another Flowberry as we approach. Do that so that your Flowberry doesn't run out, because we have to jump and hit this umbrella. And then we hit another Flowberry to make this jump, and then we can pick up the Shockwave with the Flowberry still equipped. Oh, with the Flowberry still going, and we can actually skip that section if our Flowberry is still on us. And we come up here and we just collect the rest of the coins, and we finish it with like 15 seconds left. So that's really, really good. And now we are on to the Shockwave movement course. So the Shockwaves, if you aren't good at Shockwaves, this course is going to be the bane of your existence, but it will teach you how to get good at Shockwaves. What you'll notice is there is times where you want to sprint jump past your Shockwave. If you want to go really far, go for distance and speed, you know, you can sprint jump past it. But if you want control, do not sprint jump past the Shockwave. Just walk past it and jump. Like this. Check this out. So you walk past, you throw it, and then you just kind of, I'm not sprinting right now because I want good control. So I entered a sprint to begin with, a sprint jump, and then I cut it because I want good control. I'm not sprint jumping there. I want good control. I'm looking at where I need to go first, and then I throw it down. I get in front of it, and then I just chill. And now I'm pulling back on my thumbstick on the Azeron here. And right here, this is a very difficult one. You need to basically get yourself right over that Shockwave. So I throw it down and I kind of jump above it and I move a little bit to the right. And now my butt is right above the Shockwave and I'm going almost straight up and I'm just slightly ahead of it. Got to get slightly ahead if you want to go forward a little bit. If you want to go perfectly straight up, you have to be right over that Shockwave. Again, just practicing control. Taking a second to just like, I'm just chilling. I'm like throwing the Shockwave and just jumping over it lightly. You can see I'm not like running forward. I'm not carrying a lot of forward momentum. Right here, I need to go further. So I'm just going to put a little forward momentum before I throw. This I need to go pretty far, so I'm doing the same thing. But you notice I'm not entering a full sprint jump. Right there I kind of did, but I'm cutting a little bit early so I can get that control, because you can actually control yourself in the air. And you control yourself even better in the air when you're not in a sprint jump. So this is really about control. And again, like sprint jumping versus just jumping ahead of your Shockwave isn't that big of a difference in terms of distance at all. Like it's pretty much the same thing, but you gain a lot more control if you're not sprinting. So do try out not sprint jumping ahead of the Shockwave, just jumping. This one is all about vertical smoothness. Again, you need to put your crosshair in the right place as you go up. So you put your crosshair below them and then it falls into them. And now you have to start following them. As you fall down, you got to pull down and track them in the air. That's what this is all about. If you have bad vertical smoothness, if you're going left and right as you are coming down, you're going to be very bad at this scenario, and you're going to be very bad in vertical fights like this. So it's something to practice for sure. Get that vertical movement, just straight, linear, up and down. It can really help. And then you do have to add a little bit of tracking in as well. So yeah, this one's all about crosshair placement. You'll notice like even with that jump right there, I'm just letting the crosshair fall into my enemy. Watch. I'm not really like swinging the crosshair around. As I come up, I'm just aiming below them and then letting it come up into them and then pulling the trigger at the right time, making minor adjustments. So a lot of people think that like these are all about flick shots, but no, it's all about crosshair placement and then smoothness with the crosshair, smoothness with your aim. Being very gentle on those analog sticks, being very smooth, vertical up and down. All right, so now we are on the right shoulder peak scenario here. Speed peaks. This one can be tricky because if this bot shoots you at all and it has pretty much aimbot, it will do half your health. And then you'll be stuck on a like 7 or 8 second respawn if you die. So you really don't want to die here. Okay, so we hit a pretty weak shot right here. This is really important to get a couple steps off the wall. It's going to give you a better angle. I didn't really do it right here. Just lined up a good headshot and went for it. And then timing your peak when they're not shooting. You can hear their shots if you listen. So you can hear those shots going off. So you got to time your peak from when they're not shooting. And then it's really about practicing that little quick peek out, lining that reticle up, getting it in a good spot, peeking out quick, and also always going for the right shoulder. Don't go for the left. Never try to go on a left shoulder. You will get punished by these guys. They have aimbot, literally. So you got to always go right shoulder and cut as much of the angle as possible from them. And that's what this is all practicing. So you can go for good little jump shots as well, like this, but you need to get good crosshair placement. So let that crosshair fall into the enemy. Notice, if you watch my crosshair I'm just leaving it there. I'm letting my movement do the aiming for me. And this is a big thing in shotgun fights. If you've got an enemy that's relatively not moving crazy, just let your crosshair fall into them. I preach this in a lot of my videos with, you know, movement shots is just like getting your crosshair in the right spot, letting it fall into the enemy, and boom. It's a real nice, heavy, accurate shot that way without a lot of fancy movement. You don't have to be swinging your reticle around. Let your movement do the work. So yeah, this one's pretty simple. In most cases, you want to be a couple feet off the wall. That's going to give you your best angle. You don't want to have your face right against the wall because you will not get a good angle and you won't be able to shoot if you're too close. Like that right there. See, I'm too close to this wall right now. I'm actually really scared because I have 1 HP. But yeah, so I'm just kind of being dumb. But yeah, you want to be a couple feet off the wall if you can. But yeah, this is all about crosshair placement. Get your crosshair in the right spot, walk to the right, pull the trigger at the right time, and then go immediately to the left so you don't get shot, because those things will kill you. It looks easier than it is. And there it is. That's the black belt run. So 274 is, you know, 255 is a black belt on this map currently, and I change this map all the time. I put new scenarios in, I rebalance things if I feel like things are unbalanced. I want to be fair for controller players and mouse players, so constantly rebalancing things, listening to feedback in the Discord. And yeah, 274 is a pretty good score out of 255. You will always pretty much get a bonus score, so whatever your score shows in the top left corner during the run might not be accurate to what your final score is. So if you feel like you're getting kind of close, just keep playing through it because you might get a higher score than you think. All right, y'all, if you want to check out the map code is above on screen. Highly recommend it. And then there's also an aim island section on this map as well. There's all those scenarios that I just showed you, and then there's a bunch more scenarios as well on aim island. And now I've added multiplayer capabilities as well. Private lobbies, you can join with your friends, up to 4 total people. And there's also 1v1 scenarios, so you can 1v1 your friends in very controlled scenarios. They have like there's a regen 1v1 where you're basically in a small like room with each other, and there's like a bunch of different ramps and stuff, and you heal over time, so you really got to eliminate your friend quickly, or let them heal up. And basically it's a good way of just practicing that short range combat where you're just tagging each other back and forth, and it's kind of like this vampire effect where you're just healing over time. So it's a really good short range aim practice with real players to do that. Also have a nice little 1v1 restored reels area in there, which is just kind of like constant respawns. You die, respawn, die, respawn. You're fighting this little pit, little gladiator arena, and that's pretty cool as well. I'm constantly out of this map. I really think this map is a great training tool. Love to see people using it and improving their skills. And if you join the Discord, man, it's actually really fun to watch people's scores slowly improve day by day. And people are like cheering each other on. They're sharing their new scores for new scenarios. Like, yeah, I got 20 in this. And like, people are like, dang, that's crazy. Like, for instance, there are controller players out there who started on the Shockwave defense scenario, the one where you're basically shooting people out of the sky as they fly towards you. And they were saying that they basically couldn't do it. They maybe could get 1 kill, 2 kills total in 60 seconds. Well, now they're getting 20. So they thought it wasn't possible on controller, and now they're getting like 20 kills in a single run, which is absolutely crazy. They have pretty much learned the technique, and they know how to track in the air. They've got that really smooth aim down. And yeah, that's what happens if you just grind these individual scenarios one at a time and work on your weakest parts of your game, turn them into strengths, and then move on to the next scenario that's your weakest thing. And eventually you're just going to be hitting par scores, and then you'll be able to get a black belt in Fortnite Zero Build. You will then be able to reach Unreal in Fortnite Zero Build. You'll become a ninja. You will slingshot your enemies into the sun. This is the way. All right, y'all. I hope this video was helpful. I'm also posting just the raw run as a separate video, just kind of a one-off if you just want to watch the run without any commentary. Yeah, again, highly encourage you to check out this map. So yeah, punch that map code up above into your search bar of Fortnite, get into the map, get training, have some fun, and then consider joining the Shinobi Clan Discord by clicking the join button down below or the link in the video description. Join our private Discord, 16 plus, zero toxicity community, amazing people, great resources, and a really, really fun channel dedicated to earning your belt and different scenarios and how to improve on these scenarios, aim training, all that stuff. All right, I will stop yapping. Have yourself a wonderful day. And remember, a black belt is just a white belt who never quit. Shinobi out.